Okay, so today we'll have Options, no pun intended of course, which was a song that I say to be my favorite back in episode 1. Although I always say that I can't play favorite when it comes to my kids, Option was a pretty special one. It's one of those songs that I felt really proud to have created, and like right after finishing it, I realized that I've gotten better at this. It's one of those songs. Same goes with Living in Circles as well, but enough setting up. What's so outstanding about Options that I made such a fuss over it? Well, the funny thing is, the outstanding thing about Option is that it doesn't sound outstanding at all. In fact, you might even find it underwhelming on your first listen. In Living in Circles, there are many things that can grab your attention. It's one of those songs that literally scream at you, okay, give me your attention because I have this and this and this and this. Because if you look at that song, like I said, there's a lot of things that can grab your attention, whether it be the haunting Studio Ghibli chords at the start, or the dramatic theatrical strings in the pre-chorus, or just the unexpected flow or dynamic of the song in general. Option, on the other hand, is pretty much the opposite of that. If you look at the lyrics or the harmony or the arrangement itself individually, there's nothing special about each of them. But the combination of them, or like the subtle complexity that the sum of them brings, is what makes this song special, I would say. But at the same time, it can also make you feel something that until now I can't really put a label on it, but there is something which you'll find out soon, I promise. I'm trying to think of an analogy. Okay, it's like this. It's like you're trying a new dish that you know you never had before, but somehow it tastes familiar to you. It's that unfamiliar familiarity, if that makes any sense, that I'm going for with this song. So how did I even start writing it then? Unlike most songs in the album, I didn't have to look for options at all. It actually came to me on a random Sunday morning. I remember I was probably in bed on my phone, and then out of nowhere I just hummed a line. I'm finding myself weighing my options. And then, as absurd as that sound, both the melody and the lyric came to me. If you listen to it closely, there is a lot to unpack in that line itself. And I just felt like we have a song idea out of this. So I just use that line as a starting point and then start writing the song out. Usually, after having a starting point and writing out the song, I would probably go back to the initial line and that initial idea and then make some revision on it. But somehow that line just felt right to me, so I leave it completely untouched. I'll play you the initial, like the very first raw recording of the song as well, so you know I'm not lying. I'm finding myself weighing my options. Hating myself for weighing my options. So now that I listen back to it, there's a lot of the final melodies or ideas are all in there. But at that time, I was probably being too careful about not committing to these impulsive ideas, because like I told you, the song literally came to me out of nowhere. I felt like I wrote the song too easily. I don't know why it makes sense to me back then, but it sounds like complete bullshit to me now. I wrote it too easily that I feel like it might not be a good song. Like I need to work on it or whatever, for whatever reason. But when I look back at the recording dates, like the very next recording of the song after that one is barely 2 weeks later, and I think there's a reason for that, and there's a reason we have this song as well. Like, the idea itself just stuck in my head that I just had to get it out. So I initially didn't plan to finish the song at all, let alone including it in the album. But yeah, here is verse 1. Did I tune the guitar? It's close enough. I'm fighting myself, weighing my option. I'm feeling my eyes blurring away. I don't wanna hate myself for finding what I used to despise, that now what I should do. No one tried to stay where they don't feel the burn, when it's supposed to hurt, seeing stars in one's eyes. Let me go, let me be where my heart is free of guilt to know. Maybe it's the same for you, 'cause you know that we no longer look like we've ever been close. I'm not holding you to think of someone else. So like I told you, there's nothing special about this song yet. So far everything is nice and neat in E flat major, and even up to the end of the first chorus as well, where everything is setting up nicely. It's the 2-5-1 to go to E flat major, but instead of E flat major, I flip it to the parallel minor, E flat minor. So instead of this, we went to this. Now, why? You see why in a bit, but this is where the fun begins. But let me sing you the verse 2 first, so you see where we're going next. Let's start from this. I'm not holding you to think of someone else. We're starting to fight for what can be changed. We're drifting apart the more we try. I wasn't used to have options. What are they even? When I turn my back away from the world, why do I look for options when I need adjustment? Accepting what this is. So, and then we go to the pre. So let's briefly look through the chords in the second verse first. So we're in E flat minor. Then we go to G flat major. I won't say the extension, just for simplicity's sake. And then we go to B major, or technically C flat, then to B flat dominant, which leads us right back to. So just a simple 4 chords in the key of E flat minor. But then the interesting bit begins right after this, where we go into the second pre-chorus. Even though it doesn't sound that dramatic, but like I told you, subtlety is everything in this song. We return to A flat minor. Now, even though it's the same chord, but because of context, it's not the same. I know it sounds weird, but let me tell you why. So in verse 2, we're in the key of E flat minor, right? So the chord itself, the E flat minor chord, is the tonic. Is the home chord, right? So everything leads back to it. But in the pre-chorus, even though we're starting on the tonic again, it's not the tonic because we're going somewhere else. And where specifically? relative major of G flat major. Now you might argue that, well, technically E flat minor and G flat majors are the same thing because they are the relative major and minor of each other, but the difference is this chord. In the minor key it's the dominant, but in the major key it's the minor. But it's also about the sense of the home key as well. So instead of this, now we have this. They're different. So even though getting to G flat major is quite easy on paper because it's the relative major to E flat minor, they're in the same family, so it's quite easy to get there, but they are also technically different keys, so modulation is still needed. What I could have just done when I land on this E flat minor, just 2-5-1 to G flat major, but there are many different ways to do the same thing, and you can hear the difference between them. Compare this to this. I know the other one is voiced really poorly, but you get the point. They are different. One sounds much brighter than the other, right? This one, the 2-5-1, sounds a lot brighter than this. This one, I chose it because it's more subtle. Again, subtlety is everything in this song. And it allows me to somehow maintain that ambiguous zone between major and minor. We were still in the minor key, E flat minor, in the verse. So I feel like, and the job of the pre-chorus is to bridge the gap between the verse and the chorus, right? That's why it's called the pre-chorus. And so this is a lot more fitting. So even though it doesn't sound like we changed key, on paper we did, technically we did, and this is pivot chord modulation, where you use a common chord in the two keys to move between them. So now we are in G flat major in the chorus, the second chorus to be exact, and it's not, and like I told you, it's not that far off from E flat minor, and E flat minor was not that far off from E flat major too. But when you compare the first chorus, which is in E flat major, and then the second chorus in G flat major, we've gone pretty far from home. All of these like key change shenanigans and all that are obvious because I told you. But when you listen to the song, it's not that obvious because I move very subtly between the keys as much as possible, even in the pre-chorus as well. Let me go, let me be where my heart is free of guilt, you know. Maybe it's the same for you, cause you know that we no longer look like we've ever been close. I'm not holding you to think of someone else. So we have the same exact melody, same exact lyrics in the second chorus, except now we're in G flat major instead of E flat major. So like I told you, we've gone pretty far from the original key. The same key is actually already happened in the pre-chorus, but it's a lot more complicated to explain. But like we have this same exact chromatically descending bass line that we already used in the first pre-chorus, but in the second one it's a lot more complicated because both the harmonic context and function got altered. But again, it's too complicated, so let's leave it. But yeah, we have the same lyrics and melody of both the pre-chorus and the chorus, but just in different contexts, which is what ultimately what I want to say through this song as well, regardless of what option you have and what option you choose, you will still end up being the one going through it anyway. It's still going to be you. So your identity or who you are will still be reflected in the option that you choose, regardless of what scenario you place yourself in. Basically, you're still gonna turn out to be you, just in different fonts. So don't worry too much about the right options or the wrong options. Just like the chorus in the song as well, regardless of what key I place it in, it's still gonna be the chorus of the song, and it's still gonna sound like the chorus of the song. It's just in different fonts, in different keys. But of course, the aspect of the right or the wrong options is something that I also address later in the song as well. But for now, I think this is enough before we blow our head off with all this nerdy stuff. And the keywords options is what actually holds everything in the song together. It's a keyword that I put at the top of the pyramid, where everything else in the song built up to that, even in the arrangement and the production, up to the orchestration or the sound selection as well. But we'll talk about all of that in the next episode. Until then, see ya.